Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. My name's Noah, and welcome to another episode of the OKKO Let's Be Heroes First Impression series. These are the last episodes that came out on Cartoon Network's website, so we're gonna have to wait a little while before we can talk about any future episodes. I believe the next episode is gonna be called TKO. Not sure what that means yet, but we'll figure it out. But for now, me and Nintendo, say hello.
Hello everyone, Nintendo here.
Are gonna be covering the last two episodes that came out on Cartoon Network's website. Jethro's All Yours and Your Level 100.
Alright, we got some good episodes to talk about, so let's just jump right in. For these videos, we're not going to be recapping all of the episodes. Instead, we're just going to be talking about our thoughts on them, similar to how Noah does his SpongeBob First Impressions videos. So this will probably make the videos a bit more streamlined and less like getting off topic and simply just talking too long and taking a very long time to summarize each episode.
And to make the videos, it is going to take a much shorter time, hopefully. So instead of recapping the episodes, I'm going to be reading off the synopsises for the episodes off of Wikipedia. So, in Jethro's All Yours, KO gets his first solo mission, fighting Jethro, whom Rad and the rest dub Simple Enough for the new hero. When KO suddenly realizes the monotony of facing him, KO begins to doubt himself. And it goes a bit deeper than that, but like I said, I don't want to recap the episode and make the video incredibly long. So, yeah, what do you think about this episode?
I think this is another solid one. I think it might be the best one of the 6 we've gotten so far. Mostly just because there's just a lot of interesting stuff in it. As I mentioned in my review, the Jethros themselves are just kind of a big reference to the kind of typical first enemies you see in video games, like your Goombas or your Motobugs, all that kind of stuff. That just go down in one hit and are just a joke. They're a joke to like the people like Rad and Enid, but I like how KO tries to look deeper to them. That's a really interesting concept in the episode, and how KO is kind of questioning how simple he is. I'm glad they didn't take the route of, oh man, I'm not useful to the rest of the team. It's more like, am I just like this simple-minded person with one goal in mind?
Yeah, I do think this is definitely one of the most deep episodes of the episodes that we've gotten so far. As deep as you can get from what seems to be a pretty goofy show.
What did you think of the action in Jethro's All Yours?
Well, it was kind of repetitive, which is expected. I think it was, I think it worked. It was your typical good OKKO action, except it's just little kid against a pathetic robot. So
yeah, there's these good shots where he's jumping around, KO's jumping around and defeating all the Jethros. And one thing I really love is the shot where he starts to question how simple Jethro is compared to himself. And then there's the shot where he's about to punch Jethro, and Jethro turns into him. I thought that was like a really neat shot, and I also love how it syncs up with the music. That's one thing I really like about the music.
Yeah, I do like how this episode both had a development for KO and kind of development for Rad, and it's more showing to the audience Rad's more sensitive side.
Right, that was something that was foreshadowed in the first episode where he's trying to get KO's approval right from the bat. That helps him, those extra dimensions help make him one of the better characters in the show.
So, yeah, I think the episode is simple but effective, just like KO.
Yeah,
hey.
Yeah, and like I said, it's probably one of my favorites. There's a lot of good action and character development, and I hope I see more of those two things in later episodes of the show.
So let's move on to Your Level 100. In this episode, KO finally gets a POW card, and it reads Level 100, causing him to become a big celebrity. However, Lord Boxman sends Big Daryl to face KO, causing him to learn the shocking truth that the POW card was just glitched out, and KO is actually level 0.
This is another good episode.
Yep.
Surprise, surprise.
I was worried there that you wouldn't think this episode was good, considering your reviews of the other episodes.
You think I would just be like, oh man, this episode really sucks. Like after everything I said. No, I think from the basic premise, you could easily assume that this episode does suck, because the idea is KO gets a big ego about himself just because of his POW card. And you would think that, oh yeah, this was cause KO to become a total jerk to his friends and demand a lot out of them. But no,
yeah.
It just causes him to become a little arrogant. And I thought that was a good way to teach KO a lesson but also keep him likable.
His arrogance was not irritating. Even considering he's a kid character, and most kid characters in cartoons are normally annoying.
Yeah, all it really amounts to is he being like, oh, I got this, when he doesn't got it. What else is there to say about this episode? Oh yeah, Boxman and Daryl return.
And they're just as goofy as ever.
Oh, yes. I would say the animation is kind of a combination between episode 3 and some of the other ones. Because it has, especially with Boxman, it has a lot of off-model expressions. Definitely not as many as episode 3, where it was like going off-model for every other expression. But quite a bit. I was a little bit worried that the show was going to look really stiff, but looking back on it, I was really stupid because the show looks great. Enough about the animation. Anything you want to add specifically about Year Level 100?
Well, I think it was a good plot that executed itself better than other shows that use this sort of instant celebrity plot. It's the same thing with We Messed Up. It takes a plot that is normally done to death in a bad way. They took it into a fresh new direction and made it incredibly enjoyable because it's just such a great crew.
Yeah, I'm really glad about plot variety on this show. How it's not always going to be just this same sort of 3 plots over and over again. They're definitely not sticking to a formula, at least at this point. There might be a more looser formula with like some Boxman episodes, but right now there's a ton of variety. Boxman doesn't even show up in every episode, which I'm really glad about.
I think they're taking more of a Plankton direction, where it's like he's in
Yes.
quite a few episodes, but not too many.
Yes, that's actually comparing him to Plankton with their approach, and us also just kind of personality. That's a really good comparison. Oh, let's talk about the ending where KO.
That was a really good ending. That was a really smart way to do it.
One thing I'm a little confused about is how the moral is supposed to be, oh, power levels mean nothing. But the thing is, the way they defeated it is Big Daryl's power level was negative 100, and they combined all the power levels of the heroes in the plaza to be equal to 100. So technically, it does mean that the power levels cancel each other out, and they do technically matter in this situation. I think I totally get what the moral is trying to say, but I think it was a bit confusing how it was handled.
And I think that while the ending was cool, I think it was a pretty big Deus Ex Machina, because it just seems too convenient that all the people in the plaza, minus a few people that are level 0, just happen to equal 100. And also, like, if some people in the plaza were level 0, then why were they still in the big arm?
I really don't know. That's actually a good point.
Don't you think they would have just stood back or something?
I would say that that's probably the ending is probably the only problem I've really had with this show.
And even at that, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I still enjoy the plot. I just like how they just kind of become a giant arm and punch him.
Yeah.
That's super cartoony, but it's fun. It's a solid way to wrap up. I guess you could call this a mini story arc. I know that online, the crew is calling it KO's first week. I think that's basically all I have to say on these OKKO episodes. Yeah, I'm excited to start to do these more as the episodes actually come out.
And there's other shows that I'm going to be doing that with too. So I'm very excited to get into more first impression series and just have them running along with all these big videos. I think it's gonna...
Noah, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to talk more about this show, because I'm really excited to watch more of the show, and I think this will be a good way to talk about it. That's not like in a tweet that only like 100 people are gonna read, you know?
Yeah, I'm very glad too. So that's the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. My next video might be my top 10 Full House episodes, but we'll see.
Yeah,
oh boy! House. Everywhere you look, everywhere. See ya, bye. See ya, bye.